So what we're looking at here is Microsoft PowerPoint, and this is an illustration that I made in Microsoft PowerPoint. I will show, how to make this from scratch uh, in a video. Haven't decided if it'll be this one or not. Might be a separate one. But anyway, what I want to show right now is maybe how to set up both Microsoft PowerPoint um, and Google Sheets for making illustrations. So remember that illustrations, you should be making them when they're going to be put into an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, is it's good to make them 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall. Okay, that's a pretty good ratio. 6 inches wide will allow you to maybe put this in full size and it'll cover the width of the page and leave sides on the margins, the right and left margin. Okay. Um, so, in Microsoft PowerPoint, how do you set the size of a slide to be 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall? Um, it's good, again, before I do that, it's good to do that because then whatever illustration you make, you can make it as big as the slide. Okay. And it's already kind of formatted with 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall. Okay. So in Microsoft PowerPoint, how you do that first is you go into the design menu, okay, which is up here. And then you come over here to slide size. You click that and you can put custom size. And then in custom size, you can just set the width to 6 inches and the height to 4 inches. It'll automatically, I think, change this to custom once you start typing in different numbers here. So this is where you can set the size for all the slides uh, in this presentation file. Okay. The other thing that you might want to consider doing is you'll notice that there are guides here. So I've got two guides, and you can change the format of a guide by putting your cursor on the guide and right-clicking it. You can add more vertical guides, you can add more horizontal guides, you can change the color, you can delete guides. You can also make your objects that you make snap to these guides by turning that on. You can change the grid spacing so that if you want your objects to snap to the grid, you can set the grid spacing. Here I've got it for 1/12 of an inch, but you could easily make it, a quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch or a 16th of an inch. Okay. Um, let's see here, and even display the guides on the screen or take them off. Okay. So I formatted this presentation to be 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall, but another way you could do it is you could do it so that it's 12 inches wide and 8 inches high. Then, if you use these guides, you'll actually have space for 4 illustrations that you can see at one time. So if this were formatted to be 12 inches wide and 8 inches tall, then this square right here, this would be 6 inches wide, 4 inches tall, and you could draw one illustration here. Then you can draw a second illustration over here, a third one here, and a fourth one here. And this is good to do because if you had drawn one illustration here, and let's say you wanted to see what it would look like in different colors, then you could copy this, paste it over here, change the colors, and then just compare the two side by side to see which you liked better, right? So you could keep different versions of the same illustration and you could see them all at once. And you could see 4 different versions on one slide itself. And, you can also see here I've made, other illustrations for the report. Okay, in other slides here. So, you may have seen some of these already. I created them here and I exported them as JPEGs. And then imported them into the report file. Okay, so you can make a bunch of different kinds of illustrations quite easily and simply just using the drawing tools here in Microsoft PowerPoint. But what I wanted to show you really quick is just how you can format the slide size so that it's made for 4" by 6" pictures. Now, let me make sure I shared that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Now, when it comes to Google Slides, all right, here I'm in my Google Drive, and here's my Google Drive. I created a folder called Statistics Intro. I created another folder called Project Report Slides. So these are the files that I have in my report slides. And, here I've got several, Google Slides files that I've created, but I'm going to create a new one. Okay, so here it is. It's just giving me a brand new slide presentation file. I'm going to close these templates. I'm not going to need them. And let me go ahead and just call this um, maybe just my student project um, illustrations. Okay, and I'll star it just so that um, it'll put it at the top of my Google Drive if I want to get to it a little bit faster. And yeah, okay, so let's do that. Um, and it creates a blank slide, but it's got these fields. I usually like to left click on the edge to select it and just delete these because I want to deal with, a clean blank slide with nothing to get in my way. Okay, so right now you can see that this looks like it is 10 inches wide and about 5.5 inches tall. Okay. Um, so in order to change the slide in Google Slides, what you want to do is you want to go to the File menu, go down to Page Setup, left click that. And here it's set up for like a television or a computer monitor, okay, or a slide projector. But I want to left click this where it says widescreen 16:9 and change it to custom. And instead of setting this to be 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall, I'm going to make this 12:8, like that, because I want to subdivide this into four and create an illustration kind of in each quadrant. Okay, so now I hit apply. And so now you can see it's 12 inches wide and it's now 8 inches tall. You can see the rulers here on the side. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is let's add a few guides to subdivide this. So I can click on View, the View menu, then I can go to Guides, and I can put Show Guides first of all. Okay, so there they are. And then if I want to change the color of these guides, let's see, if I right-click it, yeah, okay, if I right-click, I can choose Guides and put Edit Guides. All right, but I'll do that here also in the View menu. I can go to Guides and choose Edit Guides. And here it says Guide 1 is on 6 inches. So this is a vertical guide that is 6 inches in, and you can see it right here in the background, and it's gray. I'm just going to change that to red, all right, to make that stand out. You can add more guides if I wanted to put more vertical guides, and I could change their colors. That's pretty cool. If I click on horizontal, so here my horizontal guide is on 4 inches, right? You can see that going across. I'm going to change that one to red as well. And if I wanted to add more guides here, I can, but I'm not going to. I just want to show you how you can add more and edit them. So now we click done. So now those guidelines are now subdividing this 12-inch by 8-inch so that now I've got 6-inch by 4-inch quadrants. So I'll draw my illustrations here in these quadrants. What's nice about guides, though, is that like if you're selecting things you've drawn, it won't also select a guide. Okay. So this will come into play later. All right. So that's why it's good to use guides. Um, all right, so I've shown you how to edit guides. Now, it might be difficult to kind of draw zoomed out like this. So if you want to zoom in, you can go to the View menu and go to Zoom and maybe zoom by 150%. And then you can just kind of scroll over and scroll up. Okay, now you can better work like in this cell. It'll be easier. Then the other thing you might want to choose is go to View and go to Snap to, and you can snap to a grid, okay, or you can snap to guides. Now I'm going to turn snapping to guides off because when I draw something, I don't want it actually to snap to this line here. I just want this guide to serve as a boundary that I've got to work within these boundaries here. Okay, that's all I want. Okay, so that's good enough right now to show, how to set this up. I might have forgotten a few other things, but for now, this is good enough. So let me know if you have any questions.